Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Move Me Back series. Today I'm so fortunate to have with me Mr. Tim Swain. Do you like the way I said your name?
Sure. I mean, you put a lot of sauce on it, so it makes me feel good. Put a smile on my face.
Good,
Yeah.
good. So I'm really happy to have you on the show today because I'm really excited to talk to you about your experience of living in Ghana, what it's been like for you. Are you ready to go back? Oh, I've got to have loads of questions for you, you know.
Listen, I'm an open book today, so.
Okay, okay.
No, seriously. I mean, people say that, but I'm an open book, whatever.
Okay, so we'll get right in then, yeah?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so let's start by, how long have you been here for now?
Okay, so I've been visiting Ghana for about 15 years, but we decided to make it more permanent. This is about 2.5 years now.
Okay, so you came with your wife and
my son, yeah.
And your son. Okay. Are you Ghanaian?
Not as far as I know. I was born and raised in the U.S., particularly Texas, and but no, I have no, as far as I know, no Ghanaian heritage. I've never done a DNA test to even find out.
Wow. Okay, so now I love speaking to people like you.
Okay.
Because what attracted you to Ghana specifically?
Yeah, it's a very simple and unexciting answer. Really, this was the first place I came to on the continent. And because I developed relationships with people here, when I started a nonprofit organization, it just made sense to come to Ghana. And when I said, okay, I want to do more with the organization, it was like everything just lined up. So this was just the first place I came to, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 2.5 years later, are you still happy with your decision, or would you like to explore other African countries?
I mean, I've always wanted to explore other African countries because I think that, you know, the continent is so big. I absolutely positively want to definitely explore other countries. I think, you know, when I think about Ghana, it's almost like, I mean, I can't compare it to the U.S., but that's the only context I have, where living in one state your whole life, it's like you don't know what the flavor is like in New York or Texas or California. So I really want to know what the other cultural expressions are in different places. Yeah. And I also honestly want to check out the different real estate in other places and just, you know, just see where I may want to be. Okay,
that's nice. So what has your experience of Ghana been so far? Has it just been like amazing? Has it been up and down? Like, what has your general experience been like? You know?
You want the real story?
I want the real deal. Otherwise, what's the point? I want the real truth.
When I came, it was mountaintop. Like, I'm on the mountaintop, I'm singing, I'm shouting from the mountains, I'm in Africa! You know, the choir behind me and everything. But I think, and that's because coming from the U.S., everything is black and white.
Yeah.
You come to Ghana, you don't have to think about that. So that, it was almost like this, like a chocolate high. You know, I'm around all this melanin and it's amazing.
Yeah.
But I think once I sobered up to the reality of structural issues, and not just even for myself.
Yeah.
And this is what I tell people, I think that the stuff that I experienced in a couple of years, what really made me sober up was, I said, wow, people who've lived here have experienced this their whole lives.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that really made me sober up, and got to a place to where before I traveled back to the States for a holiday, I was like, child, I need a break. I need a break.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just all the, if you've never lived in Ghana, it's really hard to explain, but it's just like, it's the little things that are just like,
yeah. So one thing on its own is petty, but when you add multiple of it just becomes too much.
Yeah.
I've heard that before. I've had, in fact, several people I know have to go back at least every 2 years just to get a little bit of a break. So I definitely understand what you're saying. What about from your wife's perspective? How has she found it being here? Is she Ghanaian?
She's not Ghanaian, as far as we know.
Right, okay.
A lot of people look at her and assume she's Ghanaian.
Okay. So what has her, I mean, I know you can't fully speak for her, but in roughly, like, what has the experience been like? Has it been similar to yours?
She started off a little bit lower on the mountain than I did, but now she's actually a little bit higher up. And the major difference has been she has developed a really good community. That's the most important thing. She's developed a group of amazing women that she can call, she can hang out with, she can talk to, she can complain, they can challenge her to be quiet, you know, be grateful for this, or girl, I understand what you're going through. And I think that's the biggest thing. She has a community now that that she knows more about the whole country and systems and how things work. Especially being a mother. I mean, I'm a father. I'm concerned about my child too, but you know that mother's concern is different. So she's a little bit more familiar with how things work now.
Okay, so if you were to be moving back to Ghana today, what's the one thing you would do differently?
One.
Choose one. Okay, you can give
so I would say The main thing I would do is, if I was serious about really relocating to Ghana, I would come here for about 3 months. And all I would do in that 3 months is talk to as many people I can, ask as many questions as I could about everything, like view different housing options, view different neighborhoods. What's the difference between just a regular neighborhood and a gated community? And ask myself questions like, do I care about covered drains, tarred roads, or roads that are just basically roads, if you're from the US, just regular roads? And I would really spend time like living in an area that I think I want to be in. And that's different from being on holiday, because it's, you got 10 days, maybe you're spending $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $10,000 in 10 days. Versus living here. And I think that's the main thing I would advise people to do.
Okay, so what has been your biggest culture shock moving here?
That's a really good question. Oh, the biggest. Okay, so prepare. They're gonna come for me in the comment section.
Don't worry about it. You guys be nice, yeah.
Oh, if not, I'm okay. I'm used to it. I think the biggest culture shock has been really looking at the legacy of like colonization here in Ghana. And when I say that, I'm talking about how so many of us are still so whitewashed. And the European standard has done so much on our identity and how we see ourselves that it's really sobering, and it's really kind of sad, because like when I come to Ghana, sometimes it feels like I'm stepping back in time. And I don't blame the people. I'm not blaming anyone. I understand why it is when you look at the history of the system and the structures and the educational system that's been put in place. But I think that's been the biggest culture shock of just like how like whitewashed and European so many things are.
Okay, so what do you think the reason behind that is?
I mean, when you look at the history of particularly colonization, you know, March 6, 1957 was not a long time ago.
Yeah, it wasn't, absolutely not.
And when you look at the system that was here prior to that, you're talking about, you know, at least 100 years plus for a system that kind of downgraded and degraded the African. You know, let me give you an example, right? When you look at sometimes what's seen as proper in Ghana, it's like a haircut like mine. Nice, it looks neat, it's neat, right? But then you ask yourself why. It's because the Europeans believe that this is what a good Christian should look like. A good moral person should look like this. Even, and the thing that makes it shocking for me even now is, it's not the point to where I see you and I say, oh, I don't like her hair, it's fine. It's the fact that I'll see you, and let's say you come to my hospital and I'll say, you know what? This hair, maybe she's an evil person. So I may not even give her the treatment that she deserves because of these assumptions based off this European standard. And it goes back to the education that we receive. You know, a lot of us just don't know. You know, in school we're taught to identify the pros of colonization, but not taught to critically assess how has it negatively impacted the continent. So I think just that whole process has kind of, you know, led us to where we are.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, so what would you say has been like a really positive thing about moving to Ghana?
The most positive aspect about moving to Ghana is recognizing that despite the craziness I just mentioned, when I come here, I really do feel like this is a second home. I really do. I really do.
Yeah.
And to be able to, like, for example, watch my son just play around. One day I kind of got emotional because I just thought, like, I don't have to worry that, you know, someone's gonna come and snatch him. I don't have to worry about introducing him to this level of, like, knowing how to talk to the police. Or like he's 5 right now. So feeling like it's a second home, watching him just be free to be a kid. And that's the kind of environment that Ghana provides. And the last thing I'll say about that is I think that the things that money can't buy, that's what I find here. Peace, you know, just the ability just to, you know, just kind of relax.
No, absolutely, I can fully agree with that. Because for me, even if like I'm having a really bad day, the fact that I can just be in the sun, I just feel like it just puts things into perspective. Like I don't feel down, everything doesn't feel grey. There's just something like medicinal about being in the sun, and you just feel so good, you know, even on a bad day. So I always say to people that are coming to Ghana, when you're coming, yes, have an open mind about things, but you know, things are never going to be perfect here, but there's always hope. Things always get better. I mean, and I feel like life is always put in perspective when you're here, because the divide in like people that are on a lower income and a higher income, it's just, it's crazy to see it.
It is.
It's crazy to see, and I think it really puts your own perspective into proper reason, you know?
Yeah.
The class, what do you think about the class divide here? How do you see it?
That was a shock to me.
Yeah.
That was a real shock to me. Yeah. And I didn't, because I wasn't used to being in an environment where you have classism in different parts of the world. But I think in Ghana, it's like, okay, other parts of the world, it's like one class is here and the other class is like way at the next street.
Yeah.
But in Ghana, it's like one class is here, the other one is right here.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And you're forced to confront it every single day.
Yeah.
It was shocking to me. And I think that, it was very shocking. And for me, for a lot of people who come from the West, you're going to automatically integrate into a certain class.
Yeah.
And I would say that it's an opportunity for a privilege that you have to really be able to like help people in need. Not in a let me help you because you can't help yourself, but let me give you a basic example. Like, you know, if you hire people, you now have the opportunity to hire people, treat them fairly, give them a decent wage, and help them grow into into an idea of self-respect, so that the next time they go to another person's job, they know that, oh, you can't talk to me like this just because you're here. You know, and you can show them what it's like to actually be an integrity-driven leader in this position of class that doesn't look down on someone. So I think it's a challenge, but it's also a tremendous opportunity to help people see, you know, how to do things in a way that's good.
Okay, so if money was absolutely no object for you, what would you do right here in Ghana right now?
That's a really great question. I like that question. Oh, there'd be a lot. So I would, with time and education, I would build a school. It would be a Pan-African Institute of Leadership, where we train leaders from all around the world in a character, integrity-driven based leadership program. And we help them know what it's like to be exposed to the global world while still affirming and loving Africa. Wow. One of the other things I do here is I would have one of the largest art scenes, particularly spoken word poetry. That's actually my first love.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's my first love. And so I would have like a nice venue, we would record it, put it online every single week, and have like people come and just express themselves artistically, poetry, singing, dancing, music, whatever, and put that talent out there to the world for people to see, and also give people who may be afraid to kind of voice their frustrations and agitations because of the culture, but they can do that through the creative arts. I mean, so those would be some of the things I do.
No, that's amazing, because I feel like sometimes the whole creativity industry here is not pushed enough, or is not given as much chance, you know, especially, you know, for those of us that are a little bit older, it was like, if you're going to do something successful, you must be a doctor, you must be, you know, a lecturer, you must be along those sides. But for a lot of us, the book was not our first love. You know, we have other things that we want to explore and do, and not a lot of emphasis was put on like doing things that are creative, being a painter or a designer and stuff like that. So it's only now that those things are kind of being birthed. So I feel like with something like what you're talking about, it'd be absolutely amazing. So those that maybe are not allowed to pursue those things can have a creative outlet to do that. Because there are some people that, what are you doing? What are you doing? Go and read a book. Do not do that drawing. I don't want you to do that. You know, and that's a very real reality that is here. It's still present. It happens today, you know.
And I think what we have to understand is that the world is changing so much that you would take someone that's being, let's say, pressured into a job where you look nice and it looks good for the family.
Yes.
But if you add the salary of that person versus, let's say, the entrepreneur who's doing something that's not so, I mean, not you know, stuff that's immoral, but it's just not, hey, my person's doing this. That person who's an entrepreneur may be making more than the person that looks good. And when you look at basically how everything is moving to digital anyway, and the push for entrepreneurship, because what we see is that you can go to school for 4 years, and we promise you you're going to get a great job, but in Ghana you'll have one position, 5,000 people lined up for one job. So we have to really, and this is where I go back to, like, not to go on a rant, but the whole colonized mind, where we push you into a lane that says this is the proper thing you're supposed to do because it's socially acceptable. Meanwhile, the world is changing and showing us that we have to be more innovative and creative about how we earn income. And this is the continent that literally birthed the whole world. That's what research says.
Absolutely.
So we have to go back to that creativity that God has put in us to really think about how can we, share our stories with the world, but also how can we monetize what we do, because someone else will come in and see it, value it, and monetize it for us.
Exactly. That is so true. I love what you just said. It's so true. We have to, if we haven't learned anything from the past 2 years, we need to learn. You have to find ways to be creative when you're here. If not, you're gonna really, really, really struggle. I mean, we were just having a conversation off camera where we're talking about, you know, being able to have multiple streams of income and how important it is. No matter how good you think that your business is, anything can happen overnight just like that. So it's so important to have different ways that, or different places that you're earning money from here. And I think that's really important for people to understand, you know. Okay, so just as a last question, what advice would you give to someone who's really, really desperately wanting to move to Ghana? Like, they just want to get up and come right now.
They just want to come. I just have to leave.
Just there. They've got to do it.
I would say, okay, if you want to do that, come and take a visit. And let's say if you can afford to do minimally 3 weeks, come for 3 weeks.
Okay.
And in that 3 weeks, what I want you to do is come with no phone. Call your family back home. Call your family back home. Tell them I'm fine, right? Come with no phone. Don't stay in the nicest hotel.
Yeah.
Don't eat out. Try to get groceries from somewhere.
Yeah.
Try to get a phone and try to figure out a decent place where you want to stay at. Now, I know that sounds crazy for people, like I'm not going to do that. Experience just a snapshot of what your life could be if you lived here. And in that small taste, maybe that'll sober you up to, you know.
Quite quickly,
yeah. Maybe that will sober you up a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's actually really good advice, because I feel like sometimes people compare being here on holiday with living here. They are two, you can't compare.
It's not
they
the
are
same.
two different things, because you can easily come to Ghana on holiday and, as you said, you can spend $10,000 or however much your bank account can handle. But living here, you can't live that way, you know. That thing that you're gonna pay 5 cities for that's actually only worth 50 pesos is gonna make you bankrupt eventually, you know. You can't live that way. You just can't. So it can be a bit of a shock, definitely. So I think you've given really great advice.
So, I mean, just be wise. I think that you wouldn't move to another state in the U.S. without any kind of plan.
Yeah.
Now, how can you expect to move all the way to another continent, in a new culture, in a new context, and just to fit right in? It doesn't happen like that. And if you're going to be here long term, but you have to plan for maybe a year or two more, it's worth it.
It is.
Because your money will be chopped. Right.
Oh, yeah. Listen. We'll find a way to chop it.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
It's so true. But yes, thank you so much for coming on today. I've really enjoyed speaking to you. I like the way that you're very open.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the work you're doing and just sharing the small pieces of the story, as well as the exciting and entertaining pieces as well, so that balance of it all. So yeah, I appreciate being here. Thank you.
Is there anything you'd like to say quickly before we go?
Yeah, so definitely, you know, make sure you check out the channel, make sure you subscribe, make sure you keep watching what Natural Ghana Girl is doing, making a lot of great impact here in Ghana. And if you're thinking about coming to Ghana, plan well, take your time, and we'll be here, you know, to help you when you got questions.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Tim's channel as well. He's sharing a lot of really good content. So if you are serious about coming here and want to really understand the true feeling behind it, the true spirit of living here, then definitely check out Tim's channel. I'll put his details into the description box so you can check him out as well. But guys, that's the end of today's video. I hope you've really enjoyed it. That's it. Until next time, I'm out. Nuti Papa.